How to buy a $300,000 house for $125,000 on the next Don't Bet the House.
Red Friday.
You got that air guitar going. AC/DC.
Yeah, we don't own the rights to this music, but they're good.
They're very good. They're very good.
Hey, that's kind of messed up that we're playing Back in Black on Raiders Week.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
It's Red Friday.
Sorry. Hey, thanks for dressing up for Red Friday, fellas.
Welcome to episode 13 of Don't Bet the House, first one of 2023. So happy New Year to everybody that's watching, and hopefully we can help you out here because we want to talk about a house we just bought for $125,000 on Friday. It was appraised actually for $270,000, not $300,000.
I know that was the most clickbaity headline that we've had in Don't Bet the House.
I wrote that. I mean, I thought it was compelling, but still, incredible value there. Mm-hmm. And so, how did we do it?
Well, first of all, before we talk about happy holidays and all that, Mike, I want to talk about happy haircut, dude. Looks good, man.
I know.
You're looking good over there.
Mike looks 20 years younger.
Yeah.
That's my goal, really.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good goal for the year. So
my liver is aging, so yeah, I did.
Well, I mean, as we just talked about, so we purchased a house for $125,000. It appraised at $270,000. That's the after rehab value. And we found it actually an agent that I network with quite a bit that actually Luke met at an open house one time. She brought a client through. She's given us several houses off market, and we just kind of went in and I looked at the house and we made an offer on it of what they needed to get. It was in probate. The guy didn't want to do any work to it. He just wanted to unload it. So kind of went in and gave him an offer on it, and actually after we gave him an offer, we had to go back and we did an inspection because it seemed like there was a lot wrong with it. And we did an inspection. We negotiated down about another $15,000 after we did the inspection. And it just, like I said, there was a lot of value in the house, a lot of square footage. It was kind of actually a hard house. Luke and I both comped it out, and it was one of those things that you really had to do your research to find out, what this house really consisted of. But I mean, great area, acre lot. Really nice setup, and I think once we get done, it's going to be a great house.
Yeah, I think it's one of those houses that you can see the potential, even though it's a little run down right now. You mentioned that it was in probate. You could tell it had been vacant for a long time, and there was a lot of just stuff that was left behind that needed cleaning out.
That's for sure.
But the one thing I always say about a house, though, is whenever I take a client out and I'm showing them a house, I'll show them two different styles of house. I'm going to show you a house that's completely move-in ready. Mm-hmm. Granted, everything's already there and it's ready to go. Or you have the house over here that needs to work. The thing about it is you're either cashing somebody else out on their equity or you're creating your own.
Yep.
And for me, I create my own equity. I mean, I don't want to, obviously we all want a nice house, and, the wives, they don't want a house, they're going to have to live in a construction zone. But at the end of the day, if you want to create that value, you want to make money in real estate, find something that you can create the value at. Find something that needs the work, and you get the equity out of it. Mm-hmm. Well, that creates for a lot of things.
Well, quickly talk a little bit about how we go about finding these houses. So you guys both have had experience with this, and so just throw these out there because this is pretty interesting.
Well, I'll go first, man.
Okay.
I think the thing that we've figured out is people are starting to recognize us in our office and people we network with. And I think that we just make it so easy for people to get out from under, let's just per se, their problem, and we make it our own problem. And, a lot of people that are in that situation that obviously they haven't taken care of their house, maybe they don't have the money, maybe, they're in a financial situation, maybe they're down on their luck. And what they're looking for is they're looking to get a little bit of money out of it, move on in life, and maybe, start a better life for themselves one way or another, and just kind of get rid of the problem. Because as we all know, whenever things start going wrong at your house and you don't take care of them, it creates more and more and more problems. And sometimes it's just a slippery slope. So that's where we kind of come in and say, we can help you out here. We're going to let you walk away with some money, your pride, and we'll take care of the problem from here on out. And people want that.
Yep. And I think the other thing is we've been doing this long enough now that we've developed a certain reputation for being honest. We've developed a certain reputation for, we're going to go into a house and we're going to tell you what we can buy it for, what it's going to take for us to fix it up, and then what we're going to sell it on the back end to make a profit. Whereas a lot of other investors will come in, they'll throw a number out there, then they'll do an inspection and they'll try to nickel and dime people down. We don't do that. I mean,
This is the first time we've ever renegotiated on a house.
Yep.
In 12 years, this is the first time I've ever renegotiated.
Yep. And there were some things that were unseen that we didn't know about, and that's why we were forced to do that on this one. But we've become reputable buyers. So agents in our office and agents even outside of our office that work for different companies know that we're going to do what we say we're going to do. If we can buy it at a certain number, that we're good for it, and we're going to follow through with what we say. So,
and Mike, there's a couple other things we've done, some little tricks here and there that I think that help people out too. I purchased one actually that Luke found a month or two ago, and let the lady live there for an extra 15 days, so she got her money.
So be flexible.
You have to, because this has to be a win-win for both parties, and that's where I want to go in, because I want them to feel good about us buying their house. Obviously, we want to make money, so we have to buy it right. But there's value, even if we get it for a little bit less price than they want to sell it for. There's things that we can do for them to help them go ahead and get value out of that, which is maybe let them stay there for 15 days while they're trying, or letting them not take all the extra stuff that they've gathered the last 20 years.
Not every deal is strictly about getting the highest price possible.
No, absolutely.
There's a lot of other ways that you can structure deals.
They can find value for both people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think what I'm hearing most here is you probably want to get out there, if you're thinking about flipping houses and you want to network with people, want to get it out there and let them know that you're doing this. And so that's where you're going to maybe get some interest. And then also the transparency that Luke was talking about. Be honest about what you're trying to do and how you're going to do it. And I think you're going to find a lot more success with these negotiations.
Well, the one thing about it too, Mike, is you talk about people wanting to flip houses or whatever. Like, not only, we don't buy up everything. There's plenty of deals out there. Like, I just helped a client buy I helped them buy a property, probably 2 months ago, and they got it way under market value. I think they paid $200 for it. It's going to be worth $350. They're going to make some money on it. Mm-hmm. So we also help people do that as well. It's not like we just sit here and gobble up everything,
buy them ourselves.
Absolutely. And that's why we're telling you too. So absolutely. Right now, it's time to move on to the NFL, which is we had a kind of a heated discussion about this in our office for the last hour. So we're going to kind of move away from that, but quickly get your thoughts on the NFL's handling of this whole Bills-Bengals situation.
Well, I think for me, and obviously being a Chiefs fan, you always feel like you're getting slighted. Mm-hmm. And that's, because I'm a fan. I have season tickets. I want to go to as many games as possible. And I just think that, it's just there's no good way that the NFL really can handle this and please everybody. Mm-hmm. What they're doing is probably for everybody's probably right if it ends up being a neutral site. But for me, I'm not happy about it. But that's because I want to go to the game. I want it to be here. But I do understand. This is kind of uncharted territory, and they're doing the best they can. Obviously, I'm sure after this, there probably is going to be some sort of rule in place for situations like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and as a Chiefs fan, it'd be nice to have a home game, but it just seems like we play a lot better when we're on the road. And so
that's true,
playing in a neutral site against Buffalo, playing in a neutral site against the Bengals potentially, I kind of like our chances. At least we're going to be in a neutral site and not having to go to Buffalo or having to go to Cincinnati, so.
They should move it to Mexico, because then we can go to the beach and then we can go to the game.
That sounds fun. Or we just go right back to Vegas next week.
Have they talked about where the neutral site's going to be?
I think the most likely scenario I've heard would be Indianapolis. It's about halfway in between Buffalo and Kansas City.
In a dome?
In a dome. It's got to be a team that's out of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So it's
they don't have a chance, is what you're saying?
I think they're out. Okay. They did beat the Chiefs, which created this whole mess to begin with. That's all. Maybe we don't want to go back to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So
and the one thing about Indianapolis is, if you ever noticed, we've had a lot of players get hurt in Indianapolis. I think Jamal Charles did, Miles Davis. We've had several players get hurt in Indianapolis.
That's a good point.
I don't like it.
It's been a house of horrors for us.
Yeah,
so I don't
like it.
We really want to go there. Yeah. So now I'm against it. There you go.
I like it.
Well, let's get right to the picks right now. Luke, what do you got for this week?
Hey, so this week, I've been having a lot of success with these round robin parlays that we've been doing.
Tell people about that a little bit.
And so what a round robin parlay is it's similar team. You're placing, so like, for example, I have a 3-teamer that I'm doing right now, and the bet, I'm placing 3 bets. One is team 1 and team 2 are in a 2-team parlay. Team 1 and team 3 are in a 2-team parlay. And then team 2 and team 3 are in a 2-team parlay. And so I'm placing this bet hoping that obviously all 3 hit, but it protects me if one of those teams loses.
As long as you hit 2 out of 3.
You know what that just sounded like to me? That
2 out of
sounded
3.
like how the NFL explained what they're going to do with the games this weekend. Can I get like a drawing of that, please?
Yep. So
Luke,
my round robin parlay that I'm placing is Chiefs money line, Bengals money line, and then I'm going with the Detroit Lions to win in Green Bay.
Your boys.
I have
You
had
can ride
success with them all year. I got to ride with them. I think Dan Campbell's going to go into Green Bay.
Didn't you bet on Michigan last week too, though?
Not last week.
No.
Not last week. I was a little nervous about last week, but
No, you've had a lot of success with the Lions. That's been
they can score on everybody, and even though the Packers D is playing really well right now, I think the Lions are going to be able to score. I think their defense is so much more improved now. They're playing really well in comparison to where their actual standings are because of how bad they were in the beginning of the season. You know, going to Green Bay, that's always an uphill battle to climb.
tough spot to
especially
win in
this
a
time
play.
of
It's
the
basically
year.
a playoff game. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
But hey, I like my upset Lions. I think I like what they've done, so I'm going to ride with them this week.
I like it. I like it. Brendan, what do you got?
Man, I'm going with the 3 R's this week. The Raiders, the Ravens, and Rodgers.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
they're giving the Raiders 9 points. And do I think the Raiders are going to win? No. But do I think it's going to be a tough game? Yes. And the Raiders, I mean, they've lost, 7 games by under 7 points, I believe.
Yeah.
7 or 8 games. I mean, I know. And I think
they're very competitive every week. Right?
One thing about the Ravens, they're giving them 9.5 points. Do I think they're going to win against the Bengals? No, but they're giving them 9.5 points. As we know, the Ravens are a very physical team. They've always been a defensive team. I just don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I think 9.5 is good. And I just think Rodgers has been counted out all year. Is he washed up? Is he what's he going to do? And I just think that when it's crunch time, they're in Lambeau. I think that Rodgers is going to find a way to win, and then he's going to come back. He cut his hair like you, Mike, so I think that's the magic charm.
It's hard to bet against Rodgers in Green Bay this time of the year, but
So I do have a question while we're talking bets here, because I noticed nobody bet on national championship or anything like that. I mean, what are you guys thinking here?
I think Georgia's going to roll.
Yeah.
I just think their defense is so good. They put so much pressure on them. They've been there, before. Obviously, they've won the big game. I think Stetson Bennett is just he's just a winner. He may not be a great NFL prospect but he just figures out a way to come through in the clutch. He always makes the right play at the right time, doesn't turn it over. I just think it's Georgia
It's crazy.
Probably in a landslide.
It's crazy to think that TCU was on the verge of losing to KU. I mean, KU lost their quarterback, Jalen Daniels, or they easily could have won that game in Lawrence, and here we are talking about them playing Georgia for the national championship. I mean, it seems like a completely uphill battle for them, without any question. But it also seemed like that against Michigan.
Yeah,
I mean, they went out there and took it to them early. I don't think they're going to fall behind. Georgia will, like Michigan did. I agree. I think Georgia's probably going to take this game.
Okay. Well, I know nothing about college football. I just had to ask.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mike.
Well, I'm going to go. My pick is actually an NFL game, too, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Dolphins. They're a 3-point favorite against the Jets. The Jets just announced they're going to start Joe Flacco, and he has been miserable.
Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion in 2002, I think it was, and since then he has been maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL. The Dolphins, they're talking about firing their coach if they lose this game. It means way too much. This is a Jets team with no quarterback play. It's got to be the Dolphins. The Dolphins have to roll in this game, or they're going to be eliminated.
Tua's not playing though, is he?
No, he's not playing. But I think they have the weapons on offense. I think they're
don't
fine.
forget,
Bridgewater's really about the same as Tua. So
they got Ray Finkel, man. They're good.
well, they might end up with the K-State quarterback playing, so that might change everything. I want to say right now, happy birthday to our producer, Amanda, who's turning 32. We are celebrating here with some. Tell her what we're celebrating with. Tell us.
So this was a gift from my financial advisor's husband. My financial advisor is great, Deanna Campbell. I trust her with all my money that I'm not putting into real estate or gambling on sports. She allows me to gamble on sports, but this is from one of my favorite distilleries called High West. This is a double barrel. They're double rye offering, and this is actually a barrel select. And this barrel select was finished in Barbados rum, so it's delicious. Thank you, Perry. Appreciate the gift.
Very smooth finish. The rum finish is very unique, but it's got a good finish to it.
Thanks for giving me some, guys.
Just straight vodka.
It's water today, Mike. Just water. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. That's all we got for you today. Remember to smash that like button. Please share, and if you leave us a comment, especially about this NFL situation, we'd love to hear your opinions on it. We're going to do a lot more on flipping houses this year. I think that's our specialty. I think that's what people want to hear about, so expect some of that. But for now, whatever you do,
Don't bet the house.